So, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the latest episode of Facts Not Included podcast. Today's episode, or I don't like calling them. I mean, they are episodes, but I don't like calling them reviews anymore. I like calling them discussions, because when you give the name review, it's kind of like, oh, it's just going to be a I don't know, black and white type of thing, and yada yada yada. Well, as you know, Antonio, what's up? We do more than that here. We discuss these movies. We go further into them.
This is the last review, or we're calling them reviews. I think we're going forward, right? We're going to go forward and call them discussions. Or thoughts.
I think we're going to change them.
You know, last Sunday was the last of an era.
That's what you meant by last.
No. I mean, but like, I don't. Are we going to market these things now? Because
a few of them have been discussions, so I don't think it's a big, massive shift. I just think I think going forward, we're just going to call them discussions.
Okay, cool.
But today, as you know, you clicked on the episode. Today's discussion is going to be John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum. Yeah. Didn't know what that word meant, other than machine gun. Like, it means machine gun. It's a type of machine gun. But other than that...
I thought it was a type of bullet.
You know what? I think it's a machine gun, or it's a bullet used in a machine gun.
Because I know the Germans used to...
Right. Parabellum, a type of semi-automatic pistol or machine gun. So it is... But they do have parabellum bullets, of course. So,
see, there it is.
9 by 19 millimeter. Introduced in 1902 by the Germans. But parabellum in this movie, I get, is he speaking Latin in that when he says when he says it in the film?
I'm not sure.
Yes, it is Latin. Yes, so you just look it up. Prepare for war. So I'm gonna go with the meaning of this parabellum is John Wick Chapter 3. Prepare for war. It would have to be that. Especially where the movie moves and the way it ends, in a sense. Okay, so John Wick Chapter 3. I will say this before we get it really into it. John Wick, they don't perform that well in the box office. For some weird reason,
one and two didn't do well?
The first movie made only $88 million worldwide. Something like that. Let me double check that. John Wick Chapter 1 box office. That might be just domestic. Hold on. No. Overall, worldwide, it only made $88 million. That is disgusting. That is disgusting. And the budget for the film was 20. So it made its money back. Which is probably why they were like, let's do it. Let's make a part 2. Why not? There seems to be a story here. And then number 2 only made like 171 worldwide. So, again, not the biggest box office draw, you know. And I mean, you can't blame them. You are talking about Keanu Reeves, who's not the greatest actor in the world. But at the same time, it's a badass series.
I mean, he's not the greatest actor in the world, I guess, but he's still. I'll get to that later, but he's still a household name.
Oh, without a doubt, and he's one of the biggest box office draws of all time, which is, I guess that's where the surprising part comes in. It's like, but it's Keanu Reeves' movie. He should be making the money. For some reason, not making money with these films. This movie just took in 50.
Which is surprising because both of those movies, right, have been critically acclaimed for the most part as really, 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 really good action movies. Like I'm pretty sure they all came out during the summertime, right?
I want to say the first one came out like in an August, but I might be wrong. Let's see. But keep talking. Let's see. John Wick 1 came out in October of 2014. October 2014, and the second one came out in February. So no summer there. This is probably the first summer or close to summer John Wick movie. But I see what you're saying. I'll go. I'll go with you on this. October's a good time to make some money. You got a lot of Oscar movies tend to come out at that time. You would think maybe that's also why this movie didn't do well the first time out. Maybe a lot of people were seeing something else at that time. Maybe there was like, what was the big thing at that time? Oh, that came out all the time in October. There's the bird related. It's not birds, but I sound so dumb.
Birds. What are you talking about?
Mockingjay and all those movies. God.
Hunger Games.
Hunger Games. There we go.
Games, yeah.
Those movies were coming out in Octobers, and so maybe that was one of those Octobers.
Possibly. But I feel like those movies lost a lot of steam over their, over their lifetime.
The Hunger Games films?
Yeah.
I think the box offices went up the last two movies. Offices. Let's see. No, they made big money. Hunger Games, Mockingjay Part 2 made the same amount of money the first one made, which was $650 million. So that came out November 20th, 2015. Mockingjay Part 1 came out... It was a month after John Wick. So what the hell was... after this episode, we're going to figure out what came out that week in October or week before or whatever that made... Because how do you have a Keanu Reeves film only make $88 million worldwide? That's insane.
Sure.
That is insane. Anyway, John Wick Chapter 3. So, full spoilers. If no one has seen this series yet, one, what is wrong with you? Two...
they're so good, man. They're so good.
They're so good. Mike, which is why Mike's not on this episode, because Mike's never seen them. And I'm shocked, right?
Oh,
Aren't you
wow,
shocked?
Really?
Aren't you shocked Mike's never seen these movies?
Yeah, honestly. To be honest, yeah.
It reads Mike all over it. It's all about guns. It's all about cars.
Guns. Lots of guns.
Yeah. A callback to Matrix, too. He says that in the Matrix. Yeah, it's all about guns and cars, and which for me
dogs.
Three things Mike enjoys a lot. Mike had a dog. Mike loves cars, and Mike has a weird fascination with guns. So sick, in fact. No, I'm just kidding. It's very healthy. But yeah, it's something we gotta have to sit Mike down. Maybe in the future we'll sit down with Mike and do like a
not a walkthrough. That's weird, but just a watching through.
Yeah, maybe we'll record Mike's like reactions while he's watching John Wick, because I'm sure it's gonna be filled with joy, and wonder. Right. Because each movie has gotten better. I think. I think one is awesome, but I think this movie knocks one out of number one for me. This movie is so amazing because I when I see these movies, I don't want to see anything but the violence and the action, and that's it. I don't care about... of course I care about the story. I want it to be a decent or good enough story that I could comprehend. But I don't really care about the dialogue per se. And I also don't care too much about really anything else. What I love about this director, though, and if John was on this episode, John would talk a lot about this, is the idea of color. The color palette that this gentleman uses, the cinematographer and the director, that they go with, each scene is its own color. In every movie. Like, it's not just in this movie.
Yeah.
Like, one shot's green, the next scene is pink, and the next one's blue. And the vibrance of color, the color palette in these films is absolutely amazing. Do you catch that when you're watching this, or is that something you're not really...
First glance, to be honest, like, you don't really notice much of it, in my opinion, right? But as you watch it and as you think back, okay, there's a lot of neon like pink
Yeah.
or blue in certain scenes, certain aspects. It might be like like you know, it's like a nice like noir-esque. And when I say noir, I don't mean black and white, but like I mean like it's that tone, of palettes.
That grittiness, you understand?
Yeah, exactly. So it makes it seem that way. It makes it seem that these are the things that are going to be happening.
I
So.
like what I enjoyed about John Wick 3 more so than any of the others is the understanding of, okay, we've built this world. The first movie we gave you a taste of. John's a bit, he's involved with some interesting people. How did he get there? We don't know yet.
Right.
Number 2 is these interesting people are a lot more interesting than you think. They are involved in this worldwide, I guess, League of Assassins and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And there's hotels across the world that deal with these people. And then you have, in chapter 3 now, you have that connective tissue, of course, because these 3 movies all take place within, like, what they say, like a week and a half.
Yeah, pretty much.
And then you start to find out, oh, this is who John Wick is. This is where, because that lady winds us telling us who he is and where he's from.
Giovanni. Yes.
Yeah. And where you're like, oh, that's how they get the John, and that's how they get the Wick. Because his last name is like Djukonovic or something like that, like Jonovic. And he's from what, Belarus, right?
Yeah.
So now you think, okay, this is how he knows Russian. Yeah. Because that always bothered me a little bit, not too much, because my understanding was, okay, maybe he knows Russian because he's involved with these guys, and so he learned it that way.
I mean, the way I broke it down is like, okay, in the first movie, they tell you, yes, this is the boogeyman. This is the man you go to kill the fucking boogeyman. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, so it's like, okay, so he's some assassin-esque guy. He has to learn multiple languages to deal with, what he's dealing with. So.
That's how I took it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but then it's like, no. It's actually a little bit more to that. He's from Belarus, so there's a very strong possibility that he learned the language as a little boy.
Yeah, exactly.
It's very, very likely that because it's on the border of Russia, so it's very likely that that's what happened. And then you figure out, okay, that this is the woman that trained him. She's the one that created this essential killer.
Assassin, yeah.
Yeah, this assassin. And she's still doing it. She still has a league of young boys and girls that she's training.
Mm-hmm.
I know we didn't need to see that. I don't think we needed to see that. But did that help you better because it helped me better understand who this John Wick is?
It also makes it's just world building. It's organic world building.
Mm-hmm.
And I truly like organic world building. It's not like they have to spend 20 minutes of the movie explaining who this person especially is, where they come from, how, it's like, it's not necessary. This is just like, okay, so John goes here. Why is he going here? They even said, like, before that's like, John, where are you going? And then you go there and you find out, oh, the reason why he had to kill Boban and take that cross is because he's going back home, and home is here. Mm-hmm. And then, that's his quote unquote family, whatever, and it's just like stuff that allows you to understand more about the world without it being so in your face about it. And I appreciate that personally.
Yeah, what I like that when you mentioned the cross, little artifacts like that in the second movie, what was it? The Mark.
Yeah.
You had the idea of having your fingerprint, your thumbprint in basically an amulet, I guess. Yeah, and once you're finished with that, you then prick their blood, or whoever's turn it was to prick their blood, and you put it in there. And then it's used again in this movie when he meets
Halle Berry's
character. I don't know her name, but when he meets that character, And there's that great line between the both of them when she says something about a dog, and then he's like, "I get it, I get it."
Oh yeah.
Like, like I've been through this.
It's like he shot my fucking dog.
There's 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 some meta moments in this movie that make me laugh, only because, and one of them in particular that made me hysterical was, and I think I was the only one laughing in the theater because I think I was the only one that knew who this man was. The Iron Chef guy, that he's the fighter, he's the villain in this movie.
Oh yeah, one of the main villains. Yeah.
So if you don't know who I'm talking about, the bald guy in John Wick 3, for years he's portrayed this Japanese man, I believe. Well, I'm going to say Japanese man, right? On the Food Network, and he was the host of Iron Chef America, or Iron Chef, the redo version from the original Asian Iron Chef series. And he plays a guy that's supposedly the nephew, but in real life they're not related at all. But what's so funny is in John Wick he's a chef. To me, I was dying. I was like, "Oh, this is perfect." Like how else would you have this man portrayed in this movie? So I thought that was really funny.
Oh, and he's hilarious too. He's like super funny, like in the movie.
In the movie, his character's really, because he's more or less playing like a fanboy. To John Wick. It kind of reminded me of not too much, but I guess post movie. The evil guy in the Incredibles movie.
Oh yeah.
The whole like I'm your biggest fan type of idea. So that had me laughing. Apparently in real life, he's as a young boy, he was winning martial arts competitions.
Oh really?
That man. Yeah, I don't know his name. But yeah, he's been involved in fighting since he was a young man, and then he got into acting, and so it only makes sense that he's in this movie. It just kind of weirdly connects. The idea, what I liked about this movie, and you may agree or disagree, is that they introduced so many characters in movie 2, or a few new characters in movie 2, that you kind of were like, well, okay, cool, they're in there, that's cool, but I wanted more from them. And you get a lot more from some of them here in this movie, especially Lawrence Fishburne. Getting to see him again and understanding that, okay, he's going to be huge in number 4. He's going to be essential in the next movie.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Did you think he died? Because I was 100% sure he was dead.
No, I didn't think he died.
You didn't think he died? Really? When you actually first watched it?
No, I because they said 7 cuts.
Okay.
Right? Like before that, they were explaining to John Wick's, I guess, mom.
Right.
That's
okay.
the best I can explain her as her character. She was like, "Okay, you got 1 cut, and then it's between her hands."
Right. Okay.
So, like as long as you swear fealty to whatever the high order, or whatever the council, they won't kill you, right? But they'll take something from you.
But didn't he not swear, or did he? I don't.
At the towards when he got cut, that's when he swore. He was like, "All right, fuck it, I bow down to you, people."
Yeah, and then he got cut though, right after that, which is why I thought he died, because the way they showed him fall to the ground, I was like, "Oh no." That was exactly. That was a good hidden trick there, because I did not expect to see that coming until we saw him later, and I was like, "Oh yeah, yeah."
No, we'll get to that later. There's one big gripe I have about the movie. It's a small gripe, but it's a story thing about the movie. But again, that's not the point of you going to watch it.
Well, tell me, because before you lose that thought, I actually want to hear that.
Oh, yeah. So when he throughout the whole movie, when he goes on his adventure, because he's being hunted by everybody, he's on a high, $17 million contract out for him. I thought he was going to start taking out the members of the council, or
the high table.
Yeah, the high council or whatever.
We've yet to meet them.
Yeah, that's why I thought that's what he was going to do. I thought he was going to systematically start taking them out because they called the hit on him. So when he met the I guess the man that controls the council, the man that cannot be whatever, like the grandfather or whatever guy, I thought, oh, so he's going to take him out, and then self-impose himself into the role or some shit, and start taking out the other members of this council.
Wait, what guy? I'm very confused. What gentleman did he meet? That's the
one in the desert.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Well, no, he's a member. I don't think he's the top guy.
He is.
Okay. Okay. I didn't get that, but okay.
Yeah,
I guess that would make sense.
He's the man that stands above them.
Okay. Okay. So yeah. So, oh, I see. So there's him, and then there's the 12, and then there's the hotel owners. Basically.
Yes. Yeah. But even before the hotel owners, it's the what's that white girl's job in the movie? That's just handing things. Yeah.
The more or less
like the police. I guess they're police.
Like an auditor or something.
Yeah.
She was interesting because I was hearing some people talk about how they didn't like her character, and I had no issue with it because I think because they were saying that she was a bit stone. I think that's what she needed to do. I think a character like that needed to be one tone.
Just one-dimensional.
Yeah, but also one tone. She was very tone deaf in a sense in the way she spoke. And I was fine with that.
She's kind of like John.
yeah, essentially. Yeah, basically John Wick. Or Keanu Reeves. But yeah, she was very of course one-dimensional, but also a very one tone. And again, I think that character needed that. So for those people that are saying that, hey, shut up. What I liked about this movie, more so than I thought I was going to, was the connection between 2 and 3 was so well done. The idea of the excommunicado taking effect, and he had 1 hour to more or less be free until the hit was going to start. The best scene probably in the movie, early on at least, because it was so like, what the fuck, was when he goes to the surgeon, and and all that stuff starts happening, and the surgeon asks him to shoot him in the stomach because he knows he'll die if they see whatever it is in the operating room. I just thought that to me
and saw
that was, to me, that was like a fucking weird moment, and I think it's just such a great moment and in the movie, but it's just so weird. And this guy I was sitting next to in the theater, every time, and I don't know if he was uneducated or whatever, and I apologies to him, or maybe not apologies to him, maybe apologies to me. Maybe he owes me an apology. I don't know, but him and his girlfriend or wife kept talking throughout relatively most of the movie. Older couple too. Well, he was an older man. He was probably, when I say older, but I meant older than me. Mid to late 30s, early 40s. She was probably around there or younger. And they're talking. And anytime like a big word would be mentioned, he'd be like, "So what does that mean?"
Oh my god.
To her, and I'll be like, "Ah." And the funny thing is, I think they were also talking a different language, and I don't know what language it was, but it was mainly English. But every now and then you would hear some other language being spoken.
Right.
And I was like, "You don't know what these words mean?" And I'm sorry because I can't remember the words specifically. One was with a P. One started with the letter P, and it was used later in the film. Parlay.
Oh, parlay.
He goes there, "What's a parlay?" Because he realized they said it like 5 times. And he just didn't know what it meant. And I don't, he might have said, "What does excommunicado mean?" But, if you never knew what excommunication meant in like high school or like in the Catholic Church, or maybe, you would know. But it was just funny. Like, he just didn't know certain words. And it just made me laugh and giggle inside because it's like, dude, you're a grown man. Anyway.
I mean, I understand that some people might just not know, to be honest.
But at least I guess, in his defense, he was honest enough to not be embarrassed and be like, "Hey, I'm going to ask this question. What does it mean?"
Right.
Because most people would be like, I don't want to ask that question. I feel stupid if I ask that question.
Yeah, also you could just use context clues,
Yeah. Exactly. See, that's what I was gonna go with. I was gonna be like, hey, well, just watch the movie and you'll figure it out. Like you'll
Right.
more or less will figure out what it means. You know, like they tell you in school, read the sentence before, read the sentence after, and you'll more or less get the understanding of what that word means. It's the
Mm-hmm.
old trick when you're reading. But yeah. So, I was a bit. And I mean, you don't get it. You get it more so towards the end, but I guess it made sense because he was excommunicado. But I wish we got more Continental in this movie. Only because it's just fun in that place, in that hotel, and what,
Oh, right. Yeah.
of like no business could be done on the property, and then all of a sudden, he obviously breaks the rules and whatnot. Uh, it blows my mind. These are the things that keep me up at night.
Really?
I'm pretty sure there's an organization like this that is around right now.
Oh yeah. Like what really like blows.
That's
my
what keeps me up at night.
What blows my mind is that this is getting away. It's a part of the second movie and this movie is the way that at the end of the second movie, he's at Grand Central's. Not Grand Central.
Lincoln.
He's
No,
He's at Central Park.
Central Park. Oh yeah. Oh, the ending. Yeah, yeah.
Right, and then Winston tells Jonathan that he snaps his fingers and everybody in the crowd stops and looks at John Wick, right? Like that blows my mind.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like that's crazy. And the way Florence Fishburne's character is, he's like the king of the homeless assassin people, where a homeless guy could possibly not be homeless and he could be an assassin, dude. Like it's crazy.
Because of this movie, I'll never give anything to the homeless again. Just kidding. Because of John Wick, homeless people have to suffer. Because they're not suffering. No, I'm just kidding. But isn't that fascinating too? That I love that scene in the second movie, where he's like, "Take me to him," and us as audience members are like, "What is he? Why is he telling that to a homeless guy?" And then automatically you start seeing it unfold. Like you start shooting two cops, and then it takes him to Lawrence. Yeah, that was stuff like that blows my mind. And then you get more of that in each movie. The fact that there's an organization out there like this that they just operate on coins,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not even a monetary value. It's more of a gesture of good hope
faith.
and good faith. Yeah.
Yeah.
You buy everything with that. You use it for everything. And I want to see. I hope in the fourth movie we get this guy again, the cleanup guy from the first movie. You see him in the second movie, but. Him and we didn't get, because John's house is of course gone, but we didn't get that cop again. Remember that cop in the first two movies?
Yeah. I love that cop. He's like, John, you working again?
Like it's just
Go home, Billy.
little, and that's what I like about this series. It understands that, hey, we're not taking ourselves too seriously. We get it. You get it. We get that you understand that this isn't too believable, so we're going to play around a little bit. And that's what I like about this. Is why I like this series more than Fast and the Furious. And I guess that's something you could compare it to because it has guns as well.
I mean,
I'm just saying, like, there's nothing really else to compare it to that's out there now. And the reason I don't like Fast and the Furious franchise, one being that it was once about cars and now it's no longer about cars. It's because
it's about cars, but not really about cars.
Well, yeah.
The spin-off
10th
movie
degree
definitely isn't about cars.
Oh my God, Hobbs and Shaw looks like a train wreck. But
I'm gonna see it.
I'm gonna probably watch it, and it's gonna be the first one I've seen since like 4.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
Feels bad, man.
But anyway, like, the reason I like this more than that is because they take themselves seriously. I feel like in those movies. And it's like, oh, ew, why? You shouldn't be taking yourself seriously. You're one step close from space. Really, take it easy. But John Wick, they're aware that it's like, hey, we're having fun here, man. We're just fucking around. What I also enjoy is they are aware that they have Keanu Reeves, so you can't have him talking too much. And so what they do, so I guess it's very smart, is have everyone else talk for him, and because they ask him questions like, "Are they'll be talking, they'll be like, right, John?" And all he has to do is just go, "Yes," like
Yeah.
that's it.
Like to me, Keanu's character, well, John Wick in a sense, in these three movies, is equated to a silent video game character.
Mm-hmm.
Like a Master Chief. Like a uh, Tommy Vercetti. In GTA. Like a or GTA 3. I forgot the guy's name in that one, but
Yeah, no idea.
or you're the boss from Saints Row. These guys in the first one. These guys don't say much, but they'll kick your ass.
Yeah,
That's how I feel.
John Wick is the equivalent to playing a video game. Um, he's never gonna die, unless they eventually kill him off at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Seems to be unstoppable, regardless of even if he gets hit or not. He seems to be unstoppable, and it's like playing Sleeping Dogs or any sort of kung fu gun game.
Yes.
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 It's constant barrage of men coming after you and trying to kill you, and you win, and you move on, and you go to the next group of guys trying to kill you. To some people, that's repetitive. It's boring, but in this movie, they make each scene of fighting unique. You have the knife scene, which is so amazing to see them playing with knives in the way that they do. You have the book scene. He kills a guy with a book in this movie. Like, that's epic.
Yeah, he does.
That's pretty epic. You have...
he killed a guy with a pencil the last movie, which was great. Because they alluded to that so many times.
Yeah. And train station. Yeah, you're right. And he more or less kills two gentlemen with a belt in this movie. Or using a belt to defend himself. Like, each fight scene's unique. The style's also a bit different. You never get bored watching a movie like this.
Right.
It's kudos to those people that put this movie together, and Keanu too. Like, I've seen behind the scenes videos of him getting ready for this movie, and it's funny to think that, I think it's funny to think that a guy at 53,
he's old now. It's crazy.
Could be so agile and you would think he's Neo again, doing these movies.
It's true.
I think it's the resurgence in his career that he needed, and I hope this movie makes a ton of money for that reason. For him, he's also a guy that gives a lot of his money away.
Yeah. That's another thing is what we were saying earlier in the episode is that Keanu is such a down to earth guy. I've seen pictures of him on New York City subways. Taking that. I heard stories about how he literally took somebody 50 miles out of his own way to make sure they got to some place because they had something wrong with their car or something like that.
Wow.
Apparently he owns or does a lot with a certain organization that helps children out, but he doesn't want his name attached to it. If you would only find out if you really dig deep and find like, oh shit, Keanu Reeves made this organization for children or something along those lines.
I heard back in the day that the $80 million he made from, or whatever the hell money it was, that he made from The Matrix, he took about a good 60, 75% of that money and gave it to the cast and crew that did the special effects.
Yes, I heard about that too. He also all his stuntmen, I think in The Matrix, he bought them all Harleys.
Yeah, I heard that one. Oh, that's like, come on. My dad, I mentioned that to my dad. He was like, "Yeah, I don't see Robert Downey Jr. doing that stuff." And I was like, "Hey, man, that's true. You won't. Probably not. And if you do, whatever. If you don't, whatever. It doesn't matter. But the fact is that someone like that is doing it, and that's really fascinating.
Yeah.
You know, there's pictures of Keanu also like with homeless people just chilling, sitting down and chilling with them, and it's like, you know, this guy doesn't need to be doing it. None of us really need to be doing most of those things, especially a guy like him who's so far disconnected from that stuff. You know, he's in his own stratosphere of celebrity, but
Exactly.
he likes being, like you said, down to earth with the common folk, I guess, and or even lesser than the common folk. You know, he's a fascinating guy, and you know, I'm really excited for John Wick 4 now, knowing that him and Fishburne could more or less team up again. Because because the last two movies, you get a tease of them in the movie, but they're not really together a lot. Especially in this movie, they're not together at all, except for the very, very end. And so now I'm so ready for 4, where it's going to be like fucking Neo and oh my God, what's his name? Why am I forgetting what the character's name he played? Morpheus. Oh, how do I forget that? You got Morpheus and Neo teaming up again for John Wick fucking 4. Do you think it's gonna have a tagline to it? Do you think it's gonna have a name?
It might be. It might. Chapter 4 or something.
Yeah, Chapter
Revenge
4
or something like that.
Because the first one had no chapter to it. It just said it was called John Wick. Second one's Chapter 2. Third one's now Chapter 3 with a name.
Parabellum.
Like they're gonna just keep adding parts to it.
Yeah, because in essence, John Wick is a comic book. Right, there is already a comic book about John Wick. I think it's the events that take place between 1 and 2 a little bit. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that, but he's a comic book character. Like in all sense of the word, he's just a comic book character.
That's another feel you get when watching this. It's like, oh, it's like a comic book come to life because it's so unreal, you know. And it goes back to me saying like they're aware of how unreal it is. They're aware of the craziness. Yeah, there is a John Wick comic. You're right. I wonder where. Yeah, you're probably right because you can't do it between 2 and 3 because there is no time. It goes right to it. That is interesting. But still, like the fact that and that's another. I think it's pretty genius. The idea to have this movie series take place within 1 week, 1.5 weeks, but also it transformed because you have to remember a lot of people may not know this. It was literally about a guy who lost his dog that his wife gave him in a car. And now it's gone from that to, fuck, I'm back in this, man. Shit.
It's like, shit, here we go again.
Yeah, and it's what was that last time? I think in our Avengers thing, is they keep dragging me out, but I got it. What was it?
It's I think it's what is it? Line in Godfather or Scarface. It's like I keep trying to go out, but they keep dragging me back in.
Yeah,
along those lines, you know.
And it's the same idea, and everyone keeps warning him. The lady in the first room, he tells him, "Listen, you're only drinking here because you're a part of this now." It's just something along that line. And everybody keeps warning him, you're coming back in. They're gonna drag you in, and he's being dragged in, further in, to the point where it's not gonna be no longer about a dog anymore, and I'm okay with that. And I think it's already gotten there. I don't know, you know, and I'm totally fine with it not being about the dog anymore, and it just being about a man trying to figure out. Well, if I stop doing this, I can't retire anymore. I don't think I can. I'm far past that point.
That's true.
I don't think he can retire now. I think Keanu's even said in an interview about the third movie. He mentioned that some guy asked him, "Where do you see Wick going after all this? Do you see him like at on an island somewhere just chilling out?" And then Keanu actually honestly said was like, "Wow, I never even thought of that. I never even thought of the possibility of him surviving any of this." And I always, every scenario I have him dying, or going out like that. And yeah, I think that's the only way you could do this character. I don't see this character going into the sunset anytime. He's done too many bad things. One, and he's too far in.
Yeah.
He's too far in. And actually, an hour ago, Lionsgate sets to release John Wick #4 for 2021. There we go.
Oh, yeah. I mean, speaking about, like we spoke earlier, John Wick's 1 and 2 didn't do well at the box office, but John Wick 3 surpassed Endgame for being #1 movie, I think, domestically right now. So
in its
that's
third week, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, which is crazy. You know, like for having low, huge box office like opening weekends, John Wick 3 came through. I also think it's a part of the whole T-Mobile Tuesday thing. You know, $4 to watch that. Or
was that a part of that?
Yeah, so you either watch that or Long Shot. So you know, when I saw the movie, it was a full theater. So
I didn't get the. I mean, I don't check my T-Mobile stuff anymore, so I don't. I didn't know that. Okay. I think another reason it beat Endgame, and this is more of a Endgame thing and a John thing. The trajectory that Endgame's been going down is fast because everyone went to go see it. It's week 1. Like obviously, everyone went to go see it. The leftovers of people that didn't see it, that were kind of like, "Hey, I didn't get to because I had work and all that stuff." They saw it week 2. This is week 3. Yep. No one's going out to see it unless you're seeing it for a second, third, fourth time by now. So this is more of a, not so much a John Wick succeeding, but an Endgame going, hey, we're at the end of our road here. But still kudos. I mean, it's not like you can't take that accomplishment away from John Wick. I just think it's more of a, Endgame's reached its box office potential, and that's a whole nother story. Is it still going to beat Avatar? I think if they leave it in for another month, it will. But if you take it out this week, it definitely is not going to, obviously. But it's only $100 million behind, so if Disney's greedy, and we all know the House of Mouse is,
absolutely.
One day I want to work for you, but hey, you're all about the money, and that's okay. But yeah, they'll keep it in there. I think they'll keep it in there for Spider-Man. I know that's a long ways away, but not really.
You think so?
It's a month and a week away. A month and 2 weeks away. So that's what? 5 weeks? You could keep it in there. Just for the hell of it. Like at some theaters, of course. That's what they did with Captain Marvel, but that was a shorter span of time. But they could do it. They could. Like, think about it. Avatar made all that money too because it was in the theaters for like 5-6 months. It was in there for such a long time. So people were still like, they were still making some money at the end of it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
That's true. That's true.
But yeah, John Wick made a global total of $92.9 million and a domestic of 57. So roughly $40 million less than was made worldwide. Internationally. It says it marked Lionsgate's highest opening since the Hunger Games Part 2, and a worldwide opening of 102. Wow. So that's good for Lionsgate. It's a moneymaker for them. It's a big moneymaker for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
At least, this one time around. It says, Oh, never mind. It's just talking about the movie. I'm curious of the marketing price. I wonder what they spent on marketing for this film. Because
I mean, I knew about it obviously because I'm a fan of the franchise. I'm a fan of the film in itself, right? So I knew it was coming out, but I don't know about you, but I didn't seem very, very much. I know there was a lot of Facebook ads, so a lot of social media ads for it, but I didn't see too many Subway ads for it. I don't know if there's a poster in Times Square. Seeing how John Wick essentially takes place, quote unquote, takes place in New York for the most part. So I would assume the city of New York would be plastered with a lot of John Wick stuff, but I can't say I have seen too many posters.
You just reminded me of something, and I'll get to that in a second. But yeah, I'll talk to your point there first. I saw a lot of TV stuff. I walk into the living room, see my dad watching TV, and there'll be a John Wick ad or something. I saw a lot of TV ads, and like you said, yeah, social media stuff. My eyes weren't open to seeing any billboards or anything, so I don't know if I saw any.
Right.
I don't know if I saw any
Right.
bus ads, but I'm sure there were a few, maybe. But to be honest, yeah, I don't recall.
Possible. I mean, I might have missed them. Right. It's possible. New York City.
Well, it's also like, yeah, we're
right?
so ingrained in seeing ads every day of our lives to the point where it's like we've seen it. We definitely saw it. We definitely saw
subconsciously, right?
Yeah,
like, subconsciously.
The ones you only remember is the ones that
I-
you see like on every bus. It's the
All the
same
time.
ad. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you just brought up that it goes to my thing in my head. It's like the John Wick movies. Oh, yeah, well, this brings up another point. Oh, ideas. First of all, there was a scene on the Verrazano Bridge. Did you notice that?
Yes. The bike scene, right?
But they made you believe it was the Manhattan Bridge. Fascinating.
It's true. In the second movie, they made you believe that he was in New York City Transit, but he was not in New York City Transit.
Right. He was in PATH. He was on the PATH train in Manhattan.
Yeah.
He was on the New Jersey PATH.
Yeah.
There's also a scene in the second movie where he's in Lincoln Square, but he's actually under the Oculus. In Times World Trade Center. This movie, they do a lot of. What I like about the series is, yes, if you're a New Yorker, you're probably going to know every street corner. You're going to go, wait a minute, how is that? How did he get there so fast? It's because, hey, jackass, not everybody knows what New York City looks like. For me, though, it's like, for me, it's hard because I'm like, wait, how did he get there? And then I have to like be like, hey, remember, not everybody knows.
It's a movie.
Yeah, exactly. There's moments like that. Actually, the Continental in New York City is right near my mom's job. It's on Pine.
Is that an actual hotel?
No, it's an Asian restaurant in real life. The outside of it.
Really?
Yeah, the outside's an Asian restaurant. It's a sushi place, and but
that's funny.
They CGI it to make it look like a hotel. I wonder where they get the inside of the Continental. It's probably some bougie hotel in Manhattan.
Yeah, probably.
And it's got
the Trump.
It's got to be some bougie place. Or some like no name like the New Hotel, or some bullshit name plate. Whatever.
The New Hotel.
There is a place called the New Hotel. It's spelled N-U.
Oh my gosh, dude.
NU. It's in Brooklyn. But anyway, I love that about this franchise too. It's like, oh, I know that place, but wait a minute, that's not where it is, and things like that. I like about this franchise. But the Verrazano Bridge is another one of those things. But they kind of mess up because if you're paying close attention, and again, for people that know the Manhattan Bridge, when they show the Verrazano, you could tell that there's no train tracks on the Verrazano because there isn't. But then when they they show the scene where they're on the Manhattan Bridge, like they cut to, a zoom out, you see the train tracks. It's kind of like, fuck it.
Oops.
Yeah.
Oops.
It's
But again, those little fuck ups. Not too many are gonna notice, right? Like you're engrossed in the scene, you're engrossed into what's happening. So not too many people are gonna care for like a small little cup on set or train tracks on a scene,
Yeah, so most people didn't even notice the what's her name with the Starbucks cup in Game of Thrones. So most people didn't even pick that up.
Like, yeah, I mean most people, again, average person, unless you're going in there frame by frame to figure it out,
like us, or like
right. Well, second time, like if you watch it first time, I hope you're not doing that. But,
I do it all the time, and it's a part of my. It's part of I'm surprised you don't do it because you studied film, and I'm surprised you don't do this.
Well, because I put my fan glasses on.
I have a hard time doing that, like a lot, and I think it has to do a lot with studying film in college. It's that's the one negative, I guess, other than not getting a job. One negative of getting a film degree One negative of getting a film degree is your enjoyment of films post that degree is not as heightened as it probably used to be. It's heightened due to the fact you know what you're watching. But you get
Right.
I put on cinematographer's classes, or I put on director's classes where I'm
Right.
just like,
Right.
I'm watching it as if I'm watching a viewfinder. I'm watching it if I'm watching the
The scene play.
the
Yeah.
screen on top of the camera. I'm watching it as if I'm seeing it that way, and it's like, all right, John Wick, all right, Keanu, action, all right, move into the scene. All right, he's walking in, and that's how I see it a lot of the times, and I hate when I do that. But I just do, and it's like, which is why I'm sometimes so nitpicky about stupid shit. Where it's because I probably shouldn't be, but it's just how I am now. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of times I do that with like live television. Like if there were the Oscars or an award ceremony or like sports events. Like I'll get nitpicky there because it's like that's live. Well, quote unquote live. So it's supposed to be. You're supposed to have those reactionary shots, or someone's being lazy with a camera or whatever.
Yeah.
So like that's when to me it's more important. But when it comes from a movie or TV series that's been heavily edited, heavily this and the other thing, I really try not to go and grow to, unless you're talking about like cartoons. I kind of do that a little bit because like it's just like a lazy animators, or the animators are not getting paid money or whatever.
Yeah,
so they budget
animation
cut stuff, but
they recycle a lot of the same stuff because it's cheaper that way.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So
but we're not saying that John Wick did this. It's just we're just bringing it.
Yeah, it's just general. But so I'm just gonna put in a question here, Pete. What was your favorite reaction from the crowd in the theater, from the audience in the theater?
So I will say this: my crowd was in it to win it. Like they were in this movie, and I love that because most of the time when you see a movie, and it's weird, but when you see a movie in Staten Island, you tend to get people that don't go to the movies too often, and it makes sense. They don't. These people they don't do anything. They don't do anything. Sorry, but but it's kind of true sometimes. And most of the time, a lot of these people aren't moviegoers. This was a group that was mixed. I'm going to be honest with that. What I mean was mixed in age. You got a lot of your little kids, teenagers.
Really?
There was a
That's
good
surprising.
group of little kids here.
Wow.
And I think it was because it was mommy and daddy's night out, and they didn't have a babysitter, and it wasn't like babies. I mean, they were like maybe 7, 8, 9 years old, but still a bit young to see something like this. But again, I was seeing stuff like this at that age, so I'm not passing judgment on anybody.
Oh, absolutely.
But
I don't judge parents for doing that. I would expect them to do that like in their homes though, but teach your own. I'm not
exactly.
gonna tell you how to.
Okay. You had grandpas.
Kids.
Grandma, you had like a lot of. It was very diverse. I was very shocked by this, and they were in it the whole movie. You had, especially there was this one group behind, like 2 rows behind me, that were like, "Yo, yeah!" Like every cut, every shot, but it wasn't obnoxious and it wasn't annoying, so I appreciate that. Thank you guys. But yeah, they were really into it. The moment that was big. Anything that was like gory, like the book thing got them.
With Boban, right? The book thing with Boban.
Yeah, anything that was really gory, I think, would get them, because I wasn't expecting it. This is actually the first, I think, John Wick movie where there was so much exciting kills, to the point where it's like, oh, how is he gonna kill this guy? So yeah, I think anything that there was gory or exciting in that regard. Yeah. What about you? Was there anything that stood out with you guys?
Oh, it was great. The audience in my theater was amazing because right from the get go, when he was doing that, when he was throwing the glass shards and the knives and stuff, people were like, oh, they were shocked. Yeah. Like there was so much shock value in the beginning, and my friend was like, yo, why are people shocked? Like have they not seen the first 2 movies?
Have they never seen an action movie?
Yeah, it's like this is what it's about. Like it's crazy, and it was funny because when the Asian samurai ninja man, I forget his name. I don't think they give him a name. If they do, I forgot. At the end, there was this guy when he comes back to life essentially after being stabbed.
Oh.
There's a nice Hispanic lady, like in the back of me, going like the generic like Hispanic like
Wow.
annoyed like gasp.
Wow.
But I know, like
his name was
went like
Zero.
that.
Zero.
Wait, what?
Zero was the guy's name.
Oh, okay, so yeah, Zero, and he goes, "Hey, John, it was a good fight." He's like, "Yeah, cool. I'll catch up with you, John." No, you won't.
No, you.
Okay. And everyone, and she was like, "Yes, finally, he died."
Wow. I just
It's
remember.
just so funny, isn't it?
I just remembered the knife scene. Remember when he gets he almost gets the knife thrown at his balls?
Oh yeah.
There was an old lady that was like, "Oh my god," something like that. It was funny. Yeah, I enjoyed the group with the audience we had. I like that. I don't know
Yeah.
I don't know the next movie I'm seeing. I don't know. It's obviously this week. Oh, Aladdin. I'm seeing Aladdin. I'm hopeful that group of people is going to be they're going to be exciting.
Yeah.
But yeah, so is there anything else you wanted to talk about on this?
Well, I mean, just the way John Wick shoots its action scenes is phenomenal. Like, you got stereotypical action movies of now just using shaky cam, jump cuts out of nowhere. To me, it's very, very unnecessary. And then we have finally a movie like John Wick where it's steady cameras, steady cuts, not everywhere, showcasing action how it is, that's easing to the eyes. Really, really showcase like my love for this film franchise, and especially the creative ways he kills people. Like it's not like the typical back alley. He's in a back alley. Every scene he's killing people. He's on the bridge. He's in a train. He's in a barn house getting 3 kills with horses. He's using knives, using swords, uses guns. Dogs are being involved by chopping male genitalia off. It's very, and then we have stuff like that, and it's like, it's just, to me, it's just very, very interesting. It's like the movie keeps finding ways, like the franchise keeps finding ways to make things interesting, and it keeps it fresh for audiences. It's not that stale action sequences where there's just random explosions in the background like it's Power Rangers. It's like, oh, okay, these steps make sense, and the storytelling and how he's killing people.
It reminds me, and I think you would appreciate this. It reminds me of the old kung fu movies of back in the day. This appreciation for the art form, of understanding that fighting is more than just mixed martial arts, is more than just a form of violence. It's a form of art, and hundreds of thousands of people have tried to master the art form over the years, generation upon generation, and this is just another layer to that, I guess, legacy that kung fu has. I don't know too. I mean, listen. I used to watch them all the time as kids, but I don't know the specifics about kung fu. Like, there's different, sects, and there's different tangents of I'm not the guy to ask.
Yeah.
And I don't know what style they used in this movie. I would like to find out, but I don't know.
A lot of judo.
Okay.
A lot of Muay Thai. Just general.
Was there any wushu in this? I don't know exactly. Maybe, right?
Mushu, you said?
Wushu.
Mushu?
Wushu. You know what wushu is, right?
Yeah.
I just don't know what it looks like.
From what I understand,
I think maybe more in the first movie, right?
There might have been. I'm not. Yeah. I probably didn't.
I like
catch
Wushu.
It.
It's more it's more like a ballet dance. I like it. But anyway, like you guys, what was his name? This man from. I like watching him, and he's in a lot of old. Oh my God, he's in the Ip Man movies too. Sammo.
Yes.
Sammo Hung, right? Sammo Hung. I'm missing his middle name, I think there.
Yes, I don't believe that's how you pronounce it, but.
Oh sure, probably not. Yeah, but he's like you thinking. I'm trying to remember what I know him from. Anyway, he's an older man now. He's born in like the 40s or 50s or something. He's an old man. He's a chunky guy. And of course, you got the Donnie Yen from Modern Times and stuff like that, and Jackie Chan.
Absolutely.
But like you're adding John Wick, Keanu Reeves, and he showed his style, of course, in Matrix. But they're adding to that legacy, of that. I love that. I love that stuff. And this is, and it's clear, like if you like those types of movies, you're gonna love this series, that type of idea. But yeah, kudos to the cinematographer, the team behind that, the choreographers, whoever they talk to. I don't know who they talked to before, like what famous martial artists. I'm very curious of who they consulted. Maybe it was just nobody important. It was just a guy down the street at your local Tiger Showman.
Okay.
Just kidding.
I doubt it. But
yeah, sure. No, obviously not. It's some white guy named Kyle. Hi, I'll teach you. Yeah, no, it's clearly not from there. But anyway, I think maybe it's a good time to wrap this episode.
Yeah.
For those that didn't know, we cut it out, but there was a technical difficulty. It seems like every episode there seems to be some issue. But yeah,
we're falling apart. We're falling apart. We need your money.
Falling apart at the seams. I'm actually going to put a review up. I'm going to watch the movie. I'm going to put the review up probably by Wednesday, Thursday. There's this movie called See You Yesterday that's on Netflix. Have you
heard of that? I've heard of it.
Time travel movie. Girl's brother gets shot and killed, but she was already working on time travel, so she somehow perfects it and goes to try to prevent it happening.
Yeah, and it's cast with minorities, right? It's like a minority.
Wow, yeah.
Well, I don't, it's like, yeah, because like I know.
No.
Like,
Spike Lee helped executive produce this, so he put some money behind this movie.
Yeah. There's like it's mostly the cast is full of people of color.
And that's pretty awesome. So I'm gonna check it out. I'm gonna put a review on article though on factsnotincluded.com. So check that out when it comes out there on fni.com. Well, it's not fni.com. Sorry, it's factsnotincluded.com. But yeah, so I'm excited. When the fuck are you gonna write an article, dude?
I'm working on it.
Are you really?
Yeah. I just don't know what I'm
gonna write it on. Well, for those that don't know, of course, on factsnotincluded.com, there's articles. And then if you go on factsnotincluded.com/forum or just click forum at the top of factsnotincluded.com, you could start or create your own discussion about whatever you feel is on your mind. There's a section about random stuff. Talk about movies, talk about books, talk about music, whatever the hell you want to talk about. Because that's what we're here for. It's all about a community here at Facts Not Included. And kudos to us. Not really us. It was A.D. Greer. For having us featured on Bite Me, a film currently making its rounds around the United States in an RV. Pretty fascinating. Yeah. It's a really cool vampire movie. It's a rom-com. I haven't seen it, but I heard it's really good. You want to know how I know it was really good? I read the article.
Check out that article.
Yeah, check out that article. But yeah, thanks for listening to this episode. John Wick Chapter 3 was pretty dope. Probably for me the best of the three in that trilogy as of right now. and I think it will be so moving forward. What about for you?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's hard to say that John Wick 3 would be my favorite one out of the three. I would have to watch 1, 2, and watch them all again, and then try to sit down. But I do enjoy this movie. This movie is definitely one of my top rated action movies as of right now of the year. I doubt Hobbs and Shaw will top this, but we'll see. I doubt it, but
I also say it's number one for me because I saw 1 and 2 like 24 hours before I saw the third one. So it was like,
right, you rewatched them.
I was
right?
like, boom, boom, boom. This is awesome. Like, so, but yeah, that's just me. That's you, so again, that's what it's all about. Opinions, man, because facts, they're not included, man. That's it. Anyway, this has been Facts Not Included, the podcast. We'll see you guys real soon. Peace out.
John, yeah.
What?